Good morning or afternoon or whenever you're watching this. Today is Monday and you can probably see that I am fully ready for Monday. We had a big weekend and I've got a lot of catching up to do, and we're going out of town this weekend, so I have to make a menu plan and I have to make one that is going to make sure that we don't waste any food, because we have a full fridge. We've only got 4 days to take care of that food, and I don't want to waste any of it because it's all good food and we work really hard to buy this food. And then if we let it go to waste, then that's like, I might as well just be throwing dollar bills into the garbage disposal. So food waste is a big way that we save money, especially because if you are trying to eat healthy, then you're buying like the good stuff. The good stuff that doesn't last very long. It's sitting in your fridge for 3-4 days, and then it's just, so it's really important to have some kind of plan, even if you don't write one down, like I'm gonna show you today, just to have something in your head or some kind of plan of attack so that you're not wasting your hard-earned money and you're getting the full benefit of that good food that you paid for. So I'm gonna show you what we're doing, and this is super chill. As you can tell, I'm in full-on professional mode. So I'm probably going to pick up the camera and show you what's in our fridge. And I haven't cleaned out our fridge. You're probably going to see sticky, gross stuff on the walls. I'm sorry if that bothers you, but it's just real life. I'm going to show you what works in our real frugal life, okay? So I have my menu plan printable from my site right here. It is, I already used it last week. We had a really simple, so like I've hardly touched it, but it's already used. And I didn't print another one, and we don't want a printer, so I'm going to just write this on a piece of paper. You don't need anything fancy to make a menu plan. Just literally a piece of paper, maybe a note on your phone, and you have to actually figure out what food you have. So I'm going to write down the days of the week that we have for this week that we're actually going to be home, and I'm going to just take a look in our pantry and in our fridge and maybe in our freezer and just make a plan. So we are either eating it this week or we are going to freeze it this week, and I'll show you what exactly we're going to freeze and how we're going to freeze it, because that saves us a lot of money when we go out of town. You can't, unless you are really intentional and you are kind of on top of things, then sometimes you can't eat all of the food that's going to go bad before you leave, and nobody wants to bring like half a gallon of milk with them on a road trip. So I'm going to show you how we use the freezer to prevent food waste when we go out of town. All right, let me grab a pen because I'm not prepared. All right, got my pen. We have Monday's dinner, we have Tuesday's dinner, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then I'm going to make a note for snacks and meal prep. I know this is kind of reversed for you and the light's probably making this hard to see, but it's just really super simple. I'm just writing that down and then I'm gonna stick it to my fridge. Okay, so lunches and breakfast at our house are usually on your own. I have a 4-year-old who I usually, he'll eat what I'm eating, or I'll, help him with food prep. But I have an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, and they are perfectly capable of making their own breakfast. In fact, they love making their breakfast because they're kind of tired of oatmeal. And so when I make oatmeal again, then they just go and make themselves some eggs. Or my 10-year-old actually doesn't really like sweet food in the morning. He just wants something savory, he says, and he'll make himself a sandwich, or he can do whatever we want. Our rule is that meals have to consist of a healthy carb, so that can be a piece of fruit or a sweet potato or some homemade bread, or sometimes we're just like, organic tortilla chips, that's something, right? At least you're eating. And then we'll have a vegetable. That's very important. Breakfast doesn't actually have to have vegetables, but lunch always has to have some kind of vegetable, and then some kind of protein, whether that's from cheese or eggs or leftover meat or something like that, or beans. I let that count for protein as well, because I have a son who doesn't really like meat, and so So breakfast and lunches are almost entirely on your own. I just have to figure out what I and the 4-year-old are going to eat for breakfast and what I'm going to make for dinner. So I'll show you what we've got in our fridge. If you follow me on stories, sorry, this is gonna take some finagling. All right, we're gonna drop you down like that. Let me know if you can see that okay. And I'm all washed out. See if we can get the lighting a little better. Does that work? All right, now you can see all my gross condiments. Lucky you. Okay, so if you followed me on stories this weekend, you'll know that I was at a conference, and because it was a local conference and a lot of people were flying in from out of town, I actually inherited all of the leftover food. So the salad dressing that nobody ate, the delicious egg roll in a bowl. It tastes a lot better than it looks. And so I'm gonna try to use those this week and use what we already had that that my kids and my husband didn't eat this weekend. So what we've got going on, let's see if that works. Okay, so we have, this is some samples that they gave us at the conference. It's coconut flavored, my kids hate it. So I'm gonna use this in smoothies this week. We have about 1.5 gallons of raw milk that I am going to make into yogurt because it is about 1.5 weeks old and it's about to go sour. So you can take raw milk that has, even if it's already a little bit sour, like you open it and you kind of go, whew, that smells like something, and milk should never smell like something, right? You can still take it and you can make yogurt because it's raw and it's okay. If it was like store-bought milk and it smelled like something, I would just toss it, but this is still good. It's been sitting deep in my fridge, so I'm gonna make this into yogurt probably today. Yesterday would have been better, but that's what I'm doing with that. And then this almond milk will all be fine, so I'm not even going to worry about that. We'll use that for smoothies, but it will last through this week, and it'll be fine if we don't eat it when we go out of town this weekend. Let me see if I can lower you down to the next level, and I'm sorry you're gonna see a lot of this region. It's a little awkward. My husband was in charge of shopping this weekend. I don't think we have ever had these in our fridge before, but he must have been craving something. So again, these are nasty. They last forever. I'm not going to try to use them this week, but if he decides that he wants to use them this week, he's welcome to, but that's not my problem. We've got some oranges and some tomatoes, so we'll probably pack these for lunch. And then these tomatoes I bought last week, they're kind of on their last leg. So I will will use these for lunches, or I will put them, I'll like throw them in a bag, and you can actually freeze them, and then you can use them in like pureed soups, like tomato soup or something like that. So that way they don't get wasted. I would love to hear from you how you use leftovers. Like, what's your favorite thing to do with certain kinds of leftovers? Some people love to make soup. Some people, I know one family, they would like take their soup, they would take like all the leftovers in their fridge and they'd put it in like a pot of water, and they would add hot dogs, and they called it hot dog soup, and they were like, it always tasted delicious. I'm not sure how that happened, but it was like leftover hot dog soup. So if you have one of those things, I'd love for you to let me know in the comments. Give me some ideas. This is more delicious than it looks. It is leftover like sweet potato hash, so it's got mushrooms and onion and sweet potatoes and summer squash and kale. And then it's just been sauteed, and it was something that we used for breakfast over the weekend at the conference, and I inherited the yummy leftovers. So this is what I'm going to eat for breakfast. I'm just going to use it for just for my breakfast this week. Maybe I'll put it with some eggs or something like that. I'm sorry the lighting is doing weird things and making me glow like a evil angel. This is my sourdough starter, and I haven't fed it since October. Totally on top of things right now. So I'm going to feed it this week. In fact, I'm going to set it out on the counter so that I remember. So I will feed that this week, probably feed it a couple of times so that it's nice and healthy, so that when we're out of town it doesn't really die on me. All right, now we're going to scooch you down to the next. All right, that's as far down as we go. So, neat fridge. leftover taco meat from this weekend. So I might actually warm that up with this guy right here, and it'll make like a taco bowl. I know it's a little weird to have like kale and sweet potato in a taco thing, but it's actually really delicious, especially you add some salsa on top of it. It totally works. If you've ever done Whole30 or something crazy like that, where you're just trying to find stuff that you can eat, you know that that combination is delicious. So this is, I forgot, this is egg roll in a bowl from one of my friend's vlogs. It's amazing, and I actually ate that one for breakfast. I know it looks gross, but it's really budget friendly, and so I'll be doing that. This is just a combination of some bacon and some lunch meat left over from our conference, some salami that my husband used this weekend, and most of these things can go in the freezer. So we will eat whatever we eat this weekend. We're not gonna go crazy trying to eat all of this stuff, because whatever we don't eat in the next like 2 to 3 days, I'll just put it straight in the freezer. You can do that with sliced cheese. Obviously you can do that with bacon. You can do that with lunch meat. You can do that with salami. You can even do that with cheese sticks. Okay, all of these things can go in the freezer. Sometimes the freezer messes with their texture a little bit, so you might be like, I don't really like cheese sticks after they've been in the freezer. That's fine. You can just like, chop them up or something and put them in a lasagna or a pasta or something like that. Right here we have some bacon and some shredded cheese that I used for potato soup that I left in the fridge this weekend and nobody ate it. Just saying. So we'll be using that this week. Guess what we're eating for dinner tonight? Let's see. Here's some of the soup that I've made this weekend. We've got potato soup. I know this is not what potato soup usually looks like. I cook it with carrots to add some extra veggies. The carrots make it kind of an orange color. It's delicious and amazing. If you want the recipe, let me know. But I like to store the soup in mason jars because it's easy for transport. It's easy to store it. And then if we're not eating it quickly enough, then as long as it's like not filled up all the way to the top, but like right up here, you can just slap a label on the lid and throw it straight into the freezer. So we're gonna try to eat these tonight and tomorrow, but if we don't get to them in time, I'm gonna put them in the freezer and we'll save them for another day. See, we've got some yogurt that lasts for a long time. No need to worry about that. We have some tortillas. We will probably take these on the trip with us, so we'll use them for lunch in the car. We have, let's see, some green onion. So I will try really hard to use this in like the potato soup, and I don't know, anything else. I can put it on top of the taco leftovers. Really easy to use green onion. You just kind of sprinkle it over everything and it makes everything prettier, right? It makes everything much prettier. So we've got, this is inherited from the conference this weekend. Vanilla bean hummus. So we're gonna use that for probably just snacks and dessert. My kids will probably just eat it with a spoon. And a whole bunch of veggies. So I have this kale, and I have some baked potatoes, some celery and cabbage that I inherited from the conference, some red onion, carrots, kind of the normal stuff. And then we got this, yay, leftover pizza. Our church does free pizza if you go to the noon service. So shout out to all the lazy people who don't go to church in the morning but wait until the last possible service to attend church. They bribe you with pizza because they want everyone to come. Hey Jesse, good to see you. So I've looked in the fridge. I know what all is going to go bad. So tonight we are going to have potato soup. And I'm gonna make a note to use the green onions and the cheese and the bacon, okay? So that's what we're gonna eat tonight. This potato soup is already loaded with veggies. It'll be awesome. And then Tuesday night, we're going to go for bacon. We got some lunch meat, we got some salami. I think I'm gonna go for like a breakfast hash kind of thing. So we have those potatoes that are already cooked in there and they need to be eaten up. So we'll do potatoes and we'll do eggs and if we have any leftover bacon, is that even a thing? I don't think leftover bacon is a thing. We might use the bacon and then we've got some broccoli in the freezer, so I will make a big load of broccoli to go with it. Honestly, I know it's like hash is more of like a breakfasty thing. Broccoli goes really well with breakfast. If you're trying to eat more veggies for breakfast for whatever reason, you can toss them into like a green smoothie instead if you don't have spinach or something like that. Broccoli works great. It tastes great with eggs. It tastes great on an omelet. It tastes great with sweet potatoes. I mean, broccoli is very, very versatile. You can roast it and that makes it better. I usually do steamed because I'm a little bit lazy, and as long as you don't overcook it, then it tastes great. So don't hate on broccoli, just try it. So we're gonna do that, and let's see, I've got that beef soup that was just one jar of it, but I'm gonna go ahead and plan for that on Wednesday, and I'm gonna make a note that, or we'll do like leftovers or something like that. And then Thursday, I think we'll have enough stuff laying around that we'll be able to just serve kind of scrounging around whatever is left. And that way, if I intentionally plan in the leftovers, I tend to over plan leftovers. So like I only make like 3 meals a day, I never make 3 meals a day. I only make 3 meals in a week. And then we eat leftovers the rest of the week. And then that way, if there's a night that I'm just feeling spontaneous and I want to cook, then something that's totally off the plan, I can. Or if we're rushing around and we don't have time to cook that afternoon, which happens quite often, we have leftovers planned into our meals. And it just works really well. None of us get tired of the leftovers because I try to cook mostly food that we already enjoy. And I do a lot of like freshening up the leftovers. So if we had chili and I'm planning on eating leftovers for the next 2 days, then we'll use the chili to make it into kind of like a nacho thing or like a burrito bowl or something like that, where I'm still using the same stuff, but I'm just dressing it up so it looks different and you might like it more. So for meal prep, I'm not going to do any meal prep this week because, as you can see, we are very well stocked for this week, which is kind of unusual for a Monday, but it is what it is. And we're going out of town, so I'm going to try to not do anything except maybe think about what we're going to pack for lunches and for our road trip, and if there's anything that I need to prepare ahead of time. Like I might make some of my like no-bake energy bars, which is like peanut butter and oats, and it's got some healthy fats in it. It's kind of higher in carbs too because you use honey too, but it's an easy thing to bring on a trip. We'll do fruit. We'll do like the tortillas that I showed you. We'll probably, wrap them with some cheese and some veggies, stuff like that. I might make hummus or a ranch dip or something like that for our trip. But I'm not planning on doing anything for meal prep because we have plenty of food. So this list is only like what I need to do. If I get a wild hair and I want to try to do more, then I can. Snacks. People ask me a lot about snacks, and I have the most boring rule on the planet. And my kids can tell you exactly what it is if you ask them what they're allowed to eat in between meals. It is fruit, veggies, nuts, raisins. That's it. That's all we do for snacks, unless it's like, I don't know, like Christmas week and grandma's here and she's offering them something crazy. So fruit, veggies, nuts, raisins. And the reason why we do that is because first, those are all pretty good for you. So I don't mind them eating that in between meals. And then also it's not like chips or cookies or something like that. And so it really makes them decide how hungry they are. Like maybe they already ate all of the apples And now the only like real easy to grab veggie is like carrot sticks. It makes them really decide, am I that hungry that I want to eat carrot sticks? And a lot of times we eat snacks out of boredom, not out of actually being hungry. So it's just kind of a natural way to help my kids really learn to listen to their bodies and decide if they are actually feeling hungry or if they are just feeling like they want a cookie. So that's our snacks. We will pack those same snacks for our trip, and we'll follow the same rule while we're on our trip, and that's what we're eating this week. So I hope seeing this real life kind of nasty fridge haul and me making my menu plan kind of gives you some inspiration for your week. If you have any questions or any tips for ways that I can use the leftovers, I'd love to hear your ideas in the comments, and I will answer any questions that you leave. And then I actually dropped a link in the description for our like pantry challenge and how we prevent food waste and how this helps us save money in the long haul. So if you are struggling with food waste, that's a really good read. Lots of tips on how to kind of just figure out maybe where you can improve if this is something you're struggling with. So thanks. I will talk to you guys later.